Yes, here we are in the woods with Nicola Craddock in her natural habitat. Hello, my season friends. I thought we'd start off in October for the November part of what we're doing for the season, talking about the subject of mushrooms. It's a big subject for us, and we are aware that it's kind of, there's a certain amount of expertise that needs to be gathered and garnered and understood before you even approach looking for mushrooms as a wild food. So we've come today to point out probably the simplest of mushrooms that you can find at the moment, one of the easiest to identify, and one of them that's essentially utterly delicious. So we've come down to our favourite woods, and I'm going to walk through, point out a few things, and hopefully this will guide you on your way to be able to recognise this mushroom that we're looking for today. So the first thing that we ever really need to consider when we're foraging for mushrooms is looking at the types of trees that we have in our vicinity, and that will essentially give us the key to what we're likely to find on the forest floor. Now, what we have here in the forest is a lovely holly tree. We have next to it some little baby western hemlock trees, and right here we have a beautiful grand fir. This is an astonishing plant if you ever can find it. It literally tastes like grapefruit. It's wonderful. For a little close-up on the needles of a grand fir here. I wish you guys could smell this, but it's got, as soon as you brush them, it's got this amazingly grapefruity, citrusy tone to it. It's one of the most astonishing things you'll find. Now, when we look very closely, we can see that these needles attach with a little green suction cup to the branch. You can see there's a tiny little purple pine cone, fir cone about to start there, and on the backside of the needles, you've got two white lines that run along the back of them. Above us, we have a sweet chestnut tree. As you can see, the leaves here of a sweet chestnut. With the spiky edges to them. And then just over, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but further up on the bank there's quite a lot of beech trees. Here we are at the base of a beech tree. It's probably one of the most magnificent trees in the UK. It's so stunning. But below it, at this time of year, I quite often find this ring-like, moon-like shape of fungi heading off into the undergrowth there. These mushrooms that we're looking for today are called hedgehog mushrooms, and they love to live with these mixed tree types that we've pointed out here. They can often be found in great big sweeping circles. So like as we walk through here, see these white little mushrooms here? I'm going to pan up a little bit, and as you can see there's a little white trail of them, almost like a half moon of them, running into the woods here. This is the bit where I fall over, isn't it? There we go. And that is a hedgehog fungus. Now, I'm going to go over to the basket of mushrooms to have a little bit of a closer look. The keen-eyed amongst you will spot that these have got really, really tiny, spiny pore deposits on the bottom, and this is one of the most key identifiers of this type of mushroom. has quite a yellow to white, buff, almost orange colour to it in the cap. The mushrooms themselves have a really slight delicate pink tinge to them, almost orangey at the same time. And I'm just reaching up to smell these at the point. The smell is not particularly distinct, it's ever so slightly mushroomy. Now at this time of year here in the UK there is the hedgehog fungus and there is a terracotta hedgehog, and the terracotta one is a slightly smaller, it's a much more orange colour, but these will be the only two mushrooms that look anything like this. We put this in the top 10 of the most easy to identify mushrooms. Now we're out here today at the end of October, and here are the hedgehog mushrooms, and if I pan just behind this you can see these little chaps here. Now these little chaps here are digesting the fallen wood from the western hemlock trees that are right above us, and this is a little baby western hemlock here. As you can see, these little tiny shapes there, fur, and it's because of the broken branches of the western hemlock that these little yellow-legged or winter chanterelles are all growing here. Now these are somewhat more complex to identify, so I just thought I'd show you those at this point to show that these things are going to grow together, but the point of today is to try and to be able to recognise these. So I thought it'd be quite nice to sort of stop and just explain a little bit about why I think it's really valuable that we spend a bit more time outdoors and connected to nature. There's something within the scent in the air, that beautiful feeling of leaves falling around you. All of these things are just calming and restorative. We take this time to reflect and observe. For me, the key thing here is just about observancy. The minute you start to look at all of the things that are in and around us within nature, the more beautiful you realise nature is. I'm really enjoying the stillness of the woods right now. It's October, we seem to have lucked out with a beautiful, sunny, still warm day. But the time spent here is just relaxing and restorative. I feel like we are often rushing around so much that taking up an activity like this and just being outdoors and connected to nature can really benefit your mental well-being. I know it has mine. I've seen the woods as a place of solace and a time to think, a time to breathe, a time to reflect, and a time to ultimately just observe things. Now, it's through the observancy of things where curiosity is found, and curiosity leads to wonderment, and we end up finding things like this which are utterly wonderful. Like, this has been around for eons. It's developed its fruiting bodies to gas spores in a way that help digest all of this matter that lands on the woodland floor, and this is the cyclical part of life. And when we start to get into foraging and taking time in nature, you'll start to see things in seasons, you'll start to see things in tracking of years passing, and you'll start to see a flow and an ebb to it, and that in itself is hugely grounding. These are in absolutely perfect condition.